Today is St. Patrick's Day, and you know what they say, on this day, everyone is Irish. Well, I'm pleased to be joined by a good friend who definitely is Irish and knows a lot about the Irish heritage in our area. Our good friend, Charles McElwee, who is the editor of Real Clear, Pennsylvania, also vice president of the Greater Hazelton Historical Society and Museum. Charles, happy St. Patty's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. That's right. 100% sixth generation. So I'm
partial. I have a little bit of Irish in me as well, about quarter Irish. So I'm right there with you. But there is a lot of Irish history in our area. Many buildings that we look at today, and that with a strong history and a strong presence, because there was a lot of people who came to our area from Ireland.
That's right. When you drive south of Main Street and let's say east of Vine Street, west of Poplar, north of Buttonwood, that whole area of the city of Hazelton, the south side as we know it, at one time was known as the Hill or Donegal Hill. And it was because everyone who lived there was descended from Donegal, Ireland. Immigrants had come there as early as the 1830s, including my ancestors, to the area, whether it was Harley or other patch towns in the area. And then they eventually settled in this wooded area south of what was the village of Hazelton. And they, in time, built a vibrant community and established a strong cultural presence in what became the city of Hazelton. So they had come from the most isolated pocket of Ireland, Donegal, Western Donegal, places like the Finn Valley and Glenties and Ardara. And just to think that they were coming from this place where they didn't even speak English there. And then they came to the south side, and in 1857, John Newman, who was Bishop of Philadelphia and is a canonized saint in the church, he established St. Gabriel's for these Gaelic-speaking Irish. And over time, that church, which was the second Catholic church in the area before St. Mary's and Beaver Meadows, St. Gabriel's became the cultural epicenter of that neighborhood. And of course, by 1927, that French Gothic 13th century cathedral that was modeled to look like St. Patrick's in New York, that church, of course, still stands today. But the size of the church itself, the fact that it looks like a cathedral and continues to command the let's just call it the skyline of Hazelton, that just shows you what presence the Irish once had in the city of Hazelton, especially before World War II.
Now that is still a beautiful building that was recently renovated, and so it still remains as part of the Irish heritage in our area. But unfortunately, some buildings have not stayed open and are not with us any longer. So that's a shame as well.
Right, Lisa. So the Irish as a cultural presence, it's quite faded. And this is a story that is so common in cities across America, and especially the Northeast. When it comes to Hazelton, it was really World War II that was the game changer. So many Irish were drafted. They came back to Hazelton. They enlisted in the GI Bill, and they left town. Subsequently, by the late 60s, we had urban redevelopment projects in Hazelton, downtown South. It was an infamous project that began in 1968, and it wiped out the South Side. So 16 square blocks were demolished in the hope of something better would replace it. And what they did was actually eliminate the commercial and cultural center of the neighborhood. In recent years, yes, we've lost some landmarks. The Battered Bug, which dates to 1861. For perspective, it was a year before Jack Kehoe was alleged to have carried out the first murder of the Molly Maguires in the Ottoman just down the road at that time. And the type of bar that, if it were in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, for example, it would be open and would be booming. It's the type of bar that New Yorkers look for. And the last one, of course, was Boyle's Funeral Home, which it's only fitting, it's almost poetic that the last Irish landmark in the neighborhood to go is the funeral home. But St. Gabriel's remains a strong presence in the South Side. And it's interesting when you go into church, you see the etching of St. Patrick on the choir loft door. You go toward the altar, you see a tribute to Our Lady of Altagracia, patroness of the Dominican Republic. So it just shows you that as times change, some things remain the same. St. Gabriel's remains a strong, vibrant cultural presence on the south side.